Caldwell Parish School Board meeting will come to order. Mr. King, you lead us in prayer to read and declare.
Gracious Father, in heaven, we come to you at this hour of the afternoon, asking the Heavenly Father that you would direct us and guide us in our particular jobs. And Father, let us understand that it's not about us, but it's about these children that you blessed us with. Give us strength in them, Father. Above all, give us the understanding of how to do and lead people in the right direction. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Randy Rance.
Here.
Judy Ann McKee.
Yes, ma'am.
Melinda Ballard. Here. Baron Glass.
Here.
Maria Bass. Here. Gary Castles.
Here.
James King.
Here.
All right. Item A is an executive committee report, Randy.
Went through all the checks and everything. Everything looks good. The sales taxes are up again this month. Like I said last month, I don't know if it's because everything is so much higher. We're getting in more taxes, and if that's the case, well, so be it. But for the year, at this point last year, we're 116,000 more sales taxes brought in than we were at this point last year. So we're doing good. We're staying on top of everything as far as
Thank you, Randy. All right. Item B is approved November 7th, 2022 board meeting minutes.
Would you make a motion to approve?
Got a second? I second. All right, all in favor say aye. All right, item C is recognize Ashton Warner as Taylor & Sons Employee of the Month, Mr. Scott Walker.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you guys for having me again tonight. It's my pleasure to be here and to partner with you to recognize employees who go above and beyond. And it's interesting that I say that every month because the first comment about Miss Warner, why don't you come on up here? The first comment about Miss Warner is that she goes above and beyond to make everyone's day easier, and she is amazing with the children. Any task that you ask for help with, she is right there to help out anytime. Ashton is a hard worker, and she goes above and beyond, there it is again, above and beyond, to help anyone in any way she can. She gives the best advice and thinks of the best ideas for these tough situations. She is always so helpful and will go above and beyond to help anyone when they need it. She is amazing with all of the students and the staff. So please help me congratulate Ms. Ashton Warner. Generally, the recipient gives a 5 or 6 minute speech if you would like to.
They don't want to hear
I
might give this advice.
Above and beyond, there you go.
Okay.
All right. All right, we're going to move, on request by Baron, move the financial update, item G now.
Yeah, I make a motion that we amend the agenda for item G.
We need a second for that, or?
well. I'll second that.
All in favor? All right, item G is financial report.
Okay, that must be Baron's favorite thing to hear. Anyways, item G, and that's general fund. The first paragraph or two are kind of pretty much what we had last month. The last paragraph talks about that I did cash out 3 CDs, a total $1 million that we had just approved 2 or 3 board meetings ago, because we paid out on the tennis courts way earlier than I thought we would, because we were expecting a December or January payment. We should have property, or we will have property tax money for it, that was my plan to cover it. So anyway, we cashed that out. And then sales tax is doing fine, like Randy said. Lunch fund is pretty much in the same place as it was last year, and maintenance fund is pretty much where it was last year. Also on that page, you'll see the fund balances on each one. General fund has a $7 million fund balance. Sales tax is roughly $1 million. Lunch fund is $156,000, and maintenance has $560,000. That's all I have.
Dave, the million, we still waiting on that, right, from court?
Yes.
So I mean, we may as well just continue to wait,
Yep, court cases in February and that kind of good.
which is gonna be the key. So eventually we'll get it.
Yep.
Thank you, David.
Hey, Nick, before I go, Miss McKee, Miss King,
Where you going?
enjoyed working. I got a pinning at 6 o'clock. I'm late for Monday, but I enjoyed working with you guys. I kind of feel a little bad because from 93, seemed like everybody go, and I'm still here, so I'm out the door this time. But again, like I told you in our meeting, we started out here, but I hope somewhere we came in. I hope you know that if you need me in the future, you can always pick up the phone and you can call Mr. King. The same thing, buddy. So I hope you guys have a wonderful whatever you want to call it when you leave. And whoever else going to take these hell holes, it's your time. So if you want to come and practice, you can come here now. It's not as easy as it used to be. Ms. Wiley, did you give us this? I don't like flowers.
Mr.
I
Ray,
gave you that. I don't like flowers. No, I'm actually getting back at Nick because she made me do something.
I did, but that's a poinsettia from me,
You want
from the tennis team. They were selling poinsettias.
What is this, some money?
That's my Christmas card.
What I'll do is I'll put y'all up on YouTube as I drive. Good luck, man, Ms. King. Okay, thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, item D is to recognize our board members Gina McKee and James King. Ms. Nikki?
Alright, Mr. Thane, would you come up here? Everybody can see?
Where?
Right here.
front and center.
Front and center. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Just do not trip over this stuff. So, on behalf of the Caldwell Parish School Board, I want to thank you for your 4 years of service to the Caldwell Parish School Board and the children of Caldwell Parish. Sorry, I look down here behind me. There we go. Let me grab yours. All right, so Ms. Judith Ann has served from 2019 to 2022 for Ward 2, and we appreciate all that you have done for the students and the families of your district. I know you've been a very active role in trying to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, and we appreciate you for that. So on behalf of the school board, we thank you. And Mr. King served from 2016 to 2022. We know that you've been, and you've served, both of them have served not only in the capacity of a school board member, but as school bus drivers and a paraprofessional at Caldwell High School. How many years did you?
42.
42 years as an educator in the school system, and then served as a board member. How about you? How many years as an educator?
I think 42, 40.
Something. So it's been a joy to work with two former educators who came back to give and to serve the community in this capacity. So we appreciate both of you and your work that you've done for us, and we're going to miss you.
All right, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Right here, Mr. King.
Thank you.
We get more and more.
Excuse me, I would like to ask if I can make a motion to speak on behalf of Spartan Tennis. Despite what I've been told, I would like to hear all of your opinions personally.
We can't do it. Can't do it.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're welcome to come to the office.
All right, item E is accountability of
If you want to talk, you want to
Oh,
speak.
okay, yeah.
I talk a lot, but in this case, I've been practicing all over the world. There's one thing I've learned. If you don't love each other, go home right now. I'm serious. If you can't love each other, and I'm not talking smack. This is, I've had a rough life. Not when I say rough, you know what I mean? Down in doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. But anyway, when I came to Caldwell Parish in 1984, this is the best school system that I have ever worked in. I wouldn't lie to you. And this lady here, I call her my pilot. She's the pilot of this plane. And the reason being, my number one priority ain't me. It's not you. It's your children. So I told you I was going to talk wrong.
Thank you, Mr. King. All right, item D is accountability update, 2022 SPS, Ms. Christie.
Okay, so in your folder you have this first slide. This is basically the scores from the past 3 years as far as SPS that we've received. So you have 19, which is in the gray. That was, of course, pre-COVID. Last year we received simulated scores. Basically, they gave us a score for what we would have received had they been official, but because of COVID and coming back from COVID and everything, they considered them simulated and unofficial. This year, we're back to official scores, and our schools are doing very well post-COVID. We've rebounded very well. If you look at the district performance score, you see that we are at a 79.8, which is a B, and that was where we were in 19. So we're back to where we were before COVID. Looking at the individual schools, the high school was an A again. They did drop a little bit. Our ACT dropped a tad bit, but you'll see we're still ahead of the state when we look at that chart. Columbia is an 80.5, which is a B. They grew 5.1. Grayson is a 63.7, which is a C. They dropped just 0.3 of a point, but they are a top gains school in that their student progress is an A. So students are growing, their scores are growing, they're progressing, so they did get that recognition. The junior high is a 64.8. They're now officially a C. They came up to a C last year, but of course that was the simulated score. It was unofficial as far as the state was concerned. So now they are officially that C ranking. But they did grow 3.2 points. Union Central, they grew 0.4. They're a 58.5, which is still a D. But just to kind of give you an idea, a 60 is a C. So they're right on the line. They're there, and they're inching. They're inching closer each year. Just some kind of notes that we talked about. Like I said, the district grew 1.4 back to pre-COVID scores. Every school had growth, whether it was overall SPS, or whether it was just in the assessments, or whether it was student progress, where the students are individually growing. Every school had growth of some type. The high school was an A again, but they were recognized as an equity honoree, which means our subgroups are staying at a level playing field. We don't have a subgroup that's really low compared to the rest of them. They're all pretty equal. Like I said, the junior high was officially a C. Columbia grew by 5.1. Grayson, as I said, was a top gains honoree because they earned an A in student progress. Union Central earned an A in student progress. So the kids are growing. The kids are meeting their growth targets. And Union Central, even though it's still a D and remains in CIR, that does allow us to receive funding for them that keeps helping with that student growth. It provides resources to help keep them going in the right direction. Part of that is that all schools now in the parish use ANET, which is the company that we partner with to do our interims and our coaching at all schools. So every school in the parish is using ANET. And then what Maria and Rhonda are doing with literacy, I think is going to show just growth over the next several years as these kids go through those programs. Our scores are just going to keep going up. So I see really good things for Caldwell Parish as far as our scores and where we're headed for the future. And then this last page, I didn't give you a copy of it, but this is just on the slide. Us compared to all the other school districts in Region 8, these are all the schools that are in our region. We're in the blue. Louisiana, the level is right below that. So you see we are above the state as far as our district performance score. Even though the high school dropped a tad bit in ACT, we're still above the state in our ACT. So anybody that's in a pink, that's where they were above us, maybe in that level. So you have your K8 index, your progress index, which is the student growth we were talking about, DCAI, which is the credits that a student, you go through junior high, and by the end of your 9th grade year, the number of credits they should have earned, our high school index, and then the high school has all the rest of that goes into their score, their progress, their ACT, strength of diploma, grad rate, and actual graduation cohort. So all of that goes together to create the high school score. So they have a lot more to deal with, to work with, but you see that we're ahead of the state or ahead of our region in most of those areas.
I always like to look at this just so we can kind of, compare within and then compare outside to see how we're faring. And of course, anytime we perform above the state, that's a good thing for us. And typically, I know we've given this report year after year. It's always Ouachita Parish and West Carroll. They kind of swap places there. So one day, the plan is to jump that 3rd place hurdle there. But y'all, our teachers and our students work so hard to make this happen and overcome. And so when you look at this and you have that letter grade, you're excited, but you've got to get back to work. It just, a lot goes into that. And so I'm very, very proud of our team and what we've been able to accomplish.
Miss Nikki, I have 2 great grandkids at junior senior, and my young great grandson, he hates being out of school. He don't understand why he can't go to school on Monday. And my great granddaughter, and they love going to school.
And you want kids to love coming to school.
Just got to be connected with the teaching staff. And I know, I fell in love with Kelly. Oh my God. That preschool, everybody else go down there and see. You will be knocked off your feet.
But Kelly, they might, there may.
Any questions?
I went down the road and.
I got one. Where can we access that for the last 5 to 7 years?
You can go to
Yeah, it's on the Louisiana Believes website.
Louisiana Believes?
The newest, I don't think they call them report cards anymore, but the newest ones, they said wouldn't be posted, these scores for 22, wouldn't be posted until January. But all the past scores are on there.
I can send you that link because I actually looked it up earlier this week, going back to, I'm working on some things where I'm trying to look at where we've been the past 5 years, and you can go back and access all that historical data.
Yeah, it's all
Thank
that.
you.
All right.
All right, item L is examine the official certified tabulations of votes cast on the November 8th, 2022 election, and examine and canvass the returns of the election. It was for 1,586 and against 1,457. It was 7.4 mils for 10 years, beginning on January 31st, 2024 to December 31st, 2033. Estimated annual receipts of $488,200 annually in the general fund.
Do we need a motion to accept that?
Yeah, it's on page 2 of 8, Kevin. Budget.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Okay, yeah, I need a motion second, and then we'll do a roll call.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, I'll do a roll call. Mr. Rentz?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard? Glass is absent. Ms. Bass? Yes. Okay. Mr. Castles?
Yes.
And Mr. King?
Yes.
All right.
All right, we already did G, so item J is district leaders update.
Monica, you want to start?
Lot going on, everything, yesterday, not just the, early childhood thing, but we had the first annual, we hope, reindeer game. Robin McKay, our early introductions, met with someone that wanted to try, that does it in Franklin Parish, And she took it on, and she got donations. She had their shirts made. She had the games, and it was a great day. Those kids had such a good time. Yeah, Mr. Randy, Miss Judith, they came by, and they just. They did. Everything was geared toward them. There was not a lot of music or lights or anything. And some did have a rough time at times transitioning between the two buildings and things, but they really had a great, it was over 100, I think it was 135 kids. So, really great day.
I was super impressed.
And I told her, I said, you need to go right now and write down your pros, your cons, what you would have done, what you should have, while it's fresh. And the rec call got us to book a date before we left for next year. The Santa Claus that was there is a Santa that works in Franklin Parish with special needs kids. He was perfect, and he asked to be invited back. So it was a great day, really good day. Tiring, long day, but it was good. So, right now at the pre-K we have 97 kids with one already signed up to come in January. Kelly has 65 with about 7 that's going to be starting after school start. And Rhonda Whitten is doing all the testing. She said, I'm not used to these bursts of kids coming, but every time it seems like birthdays fall in clusters, and you'll have that influx of kids. But what Christy was saying about Rhonda and Maria and the work they're doing today, their coach was there from the Center for Literacy and Learning, I think, that works with them. And I usually try to talk to her at first and then leave her with Rhonda, but I asked her, I said, I have a couple of questions. I said, in other pre-Ks, what do you see? And she said, I don't work with other pre-Ks. She said, usually there's a pre-K at elementary, and she said, the other day a little guy was having a bad hard time, and he grabbed my hand, I walked with him. But she said, I just really don't go in those rooms. And she said, that's why when I was assigned to this, she said, I really didn't know what I was going to do, because what do you do? And she said, I can tell you, she said, this lady right here, she said, she said, she's like digging at all this data. She said, usually in a lower, a pre-K, K class, when I ask them for their data, they tell me how many girls and how many boys and how many black, how many white. She said, and y'all have dug into this. She said that she's excited wanting to see where it goes from there because of the things put in place. So I'm anxious to see in the next few years with the 3s coming up and then the 4s, how it's going to affect them. Because if the K2 gets it, then you won't have that gap in 3rd grade. So we're anxious to see
I'd
how
like
it turns
for
out.
that director down at the Head Start to stand up. That's one of our, Miss Roberts sitting over there. So real pretty. Stand up, girl. She's amazing, y'all. I'll never forget her running down that highway with her. It's amazing.
She does. She does a
She
great
is
job.
super. And we raised her.
Yeah.
Rode your bus some.
Yeah.
He was my shop teacher. I was his favorite of the 3 Wilkes girls.
Maria, do you have anything to add?
I do. I was just saying that we have showing growth, and I'll give y'all these papers later. We started the MTES, that multi-tier system support. We are seeing so much gains with the kids, and actually I'll just give you 2 highlights of our day. We had one little kid that would come in, and every time he met with the interventionist or the teacher, he immediately say, I can't read, I can't read. And so lately he comes, he doesn't say it anymore. Now he knows he has the confidence to move forward. We have another older child that would kind of sit back, didn't want to support, kind of participate. Now he's involved, and he's saying, I can do that. I didn't know that. So we're seeing things like that that's really bringing joy to what the teachers and the staff is doing, and I give them all the credit. They're doing amazing. Kids are growing.
Michael, before I go down the...
All right, couple of things. We had our second pickup of old technology yesterday. So most of the technology that's not being used, that's outdated, is not just being stored now, it's been picked up and taken off. Over the break, the first couple of days, I came in and assisted the company in installing the cameras at the pre-K and the Head Start. So now, for the first time at the Head Start, they actually have security cameras on the outside and inside the building. So the other thing, and I'm kind of disappointed Mr. Glass isn't here because he's been asking about that sign for half a year. We finally got a quote back, and it was a very large quote that we did not think it was going to be that much. But after scrounging around, they found the funds, and we think we're going to have it taken care of. I'll be getting with the company either tomorrow or early next week.
At the high school.
At the high school, the sign in front of the high school. So it's not going to be cheap, but it'll work for many years to come. These boards will be a lot better than the one we had. So.
Let me say, I was out this week, I was at the high school, and it was a lady come out, and I knew her. She manages rent property. I said, what are you doing down here? She says, I'm bringing back a Chromebook. She said, I had a tenant to move out, and they left the Chromebook, and I'm bringing it back to the school. I said, well, bless your heart. You know, wonderful.
Yes.
That student will be glad too at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Somebody was watching out for him.
Yep.
Thank you, Michael. Ms. Wiley?
We had our parent advisory meeting today, and we were honored to have Ms. Well as our presenter, and she gave us a testing update, and of course, we had a good turnout, and we appreciate you doing it every year. When Nikki was in that position, guess what? She got to do it every time. So we look forward to it. Parents need to hear that, you know, they can connect it all together when they see those success scores. And like I said, we always have a good little turnout for our girl involvement, parent advisory council meeting. And it's not just for those parents that's on council, but it's for all parents. We put it in the paper, and we run the article, and so everybody's welcome to come anytime we have those. We try to have a couple times a year, in the fall and a couple times in the spring. So we were honored to have our superintendent there, and she gave us a little update about the groundbreaking. Everybody was interested in that. That was the big thing for Caldwell Parish today for that groundbreaking ceremony. That was wonderful. A lot of turnout. Y'all, well, you all, yeah, some of y'all,
We had a good turnout. We had a great turnout. Yeah.
When that thing comes into fruition, you young people are gonna reap some good
That's right.
benefits.
What's that?
When that thing goes into works and all, these young people are really gonna benefit from it.
They're already taking classes for it.
They are, and I've got an update. I'm gonna get Michael, can you wiggle the board for me? Get it back on. So, not now, but when it's time for no, you go it now, but my update will come after. Chris, do you have anything else?
Just CTE wise, y'all may have saw it on Facebook. November was, Career Development Month, and so I just want to thank the elementaries and the pre-K and Kelly and the junior high and high school. They did a great job having activities throughout the month, having guest speakers, having activities, in their rooms, to kind of highlight career development and career exploration. And then we had the dress up day, the Friday we got out for Thanksgiving across the parish in all schools, where the kids got to dress as the career they wanted to be. And so I thought that was good to expose our kids to many different careers and kind of keep that going from year to year.
Ms. Wells?
Well, we got buses rolling in the morning, Miss McKee, and we got them rolling in the afternoon.
You have 2 new ones coming next week.
They're coming next week. Coming next week. This weather's really playing havoc with the schools. We're going from air conditioners to heaters, to air conditioners back to heaters, back to air conditioners. So we got a lot of things going on with this control boards going out on those, but we're taking care of it real quick. We did do some lighting work in the gym at the high school and the junior high. There were some yellow lights, so we got those replaced with the better LEDs to brighten the place up. And then Miss McCann's got a lot more of the other projects that I've been going around and making sure that they're finished up in her presentation.
We got our roof fixed in the gym.
I got a picture of it.
Did Mary Wiley get her roof?
I don't know, ask her.
We working, we going.
We
We gotta put roof on when the temperature is right, because I want them tacks to stick in that.
I want that
stuff good.
Stop leaking.
Mr. Wells, you have good help.
Ma'am?
You have good help.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So, and we have a schedule for these buses, so I will be watching closely until I can't comprehend what I read anymore. You keep it on track.
He does. Thank you, James. Rebecca?
I know you guys probably get tired of hearing us say things like this, but this week I've been in 2 different quarters of the state at trainings, and the one that I was at Tuesday was in Baton Rouge, and they had this idea for breakout sessions, and it was pick the one that you need to go to. So I'm looking at the agenda, and the first item is how to start 3-year-old and 2-year-old programs, and I was like, well, I don't need to go to that. And then the next thing was, well, 4-year-old programming, and I was like, well, I don't need to know anything about the pre-K. And then it was getting SPED involved in literacy, and I was like, okay, so I'm just scanning down, and then it was, get a seat at the table when we talk about funding. So, I mean, I'm really scanning through, and I'm like, we already have this, and I'm constantly, proud of the work that we do, because, I mean, how great is it to go to a state level meeting, and really all the problems that they've identified for the, for us to work through are things that, these amazing people are doing, and of course I reap the benefits of that. It's Inclusive Schools Week this week, and I was at a meeting today where I was listening to everybody in the room talk about how our principals and our administrators don't want kids with disabilities in the room. And I just kept saying, I'm sorry, that's just not a world that I have to work in. That's not a world that I live in. I get to spend, all of my time with school leaders and school administrators that do everything that they can do to include even the kids with the most significant disabilities in every single thing that we do. And, the reindeer games is a great example of how our whole community rallies around kids that need it, but it's also in the day-to-day work where teachers every single day come and do, not just the most difficult work that a regular teacher has to do with the easiest kids, but some of our kids are very challenging, and they get up every single day and do things that I can't even explain, that are so complicated, and, for complex kids, to keep these kids in that regular classroom environment. And I just, always want to remind you guys, I know we're not a perfect school system, and I know that, you probably see things here and there where parents are mad at us, or that somebody didn't get, exactly what they wanted, but we have people who fight so hard for kids every day. And thinking about what Mr. King says, I always want to say at Christmas time, if y'all give me just a little personal second here, a lot of our kids, school is their safe place. And we always think about, everybody's excited about, going home for Christmas, but for a lot of our kids, this is not a good time. They go home to food insecurity, or homes where, especially right now with, the economic climate, maybe a parent has lost a job, or money's tight, and, I always just think, it's so hard for teachers, because our teachers go home and worry for 2.5 weeks about what these kids are going through. And, y'all always just keep all our kiddos and staff and everybody in your hearts, because what should be a really happy time is sometimes really, really hard for a lot of kids that we know. So.
Ms. Murray, what you are saying, is a thing has taken over in this country. At the school here, and I'm talking about religious folks, and they're trying to make it perfect instead of looking after those individuals. That's why I always call her the pilot. See, I know about it. All the supervisors and all that. See, that's what love is. Hey, that young person, that's one of the things I learned being a teacher. You can never fool the child into thinking that you love them when you really don't. They know what you're doing. Keep doing that. Forget those people out there in the world. They can like it or dislike it. I'm not going to say what I really want to say. I'm serious. Hey, when I do a sermon, I do the same way. And you can, if you don't like it, you can get up and get out of here.
Now, this is our last meeting with Mr. King. Our last words of wisdom.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
We're going to miss you. Let's go to his church.
I hate that I'm not going to be back running the ball. Help, I just You might have seen me, I was about to fall. But anyway, I'm still a part of this system.
Always will be.
You got one of the better boards that I've ever seen. I'm telling you, you come into a board system, man. It's gonna knock the feathers off your head, like they did mine. Oh, well.
I'd like to add one thing to what Rebecca said, and not what you're saying. I appreciate you, don't get me wrong, I appreciate you a lot. But one thing that you mentioned is that our special children are welcome in the classroom. And that hasn't always been the case.
Amen, I
That
know.
has not always been the case. And it's due to these directors and our administrators that we have in this system right now, that they are welcomed the way they are welcomed. And we should be proud of that fact in the system.
Thank you.
Do we send, Miss Russell's not here, do we still send backpacks home with the children with food in it? She's doing. Y'all are whispering, I can't hear you.
I'm asking, I'm not sure.
Do we do that?
We'll find out. I'll find
Did
out.
y'all know
We
that?
give them as she needs them,
Yeah.
and she fills them up.
Yeah, she knows. Do you students know that? And the children that, in the schools that they feel like they don't get enough food over the weekend or a holiday, they send little backpacks home with them for food. Did y'all know that?
I remember it a couple years ago. I haven't heard of it recently, but I remember.
Yeah, we do that. They do that. They'll do that.
They really care.
That's amazing, isn't it? We do that because we're small.
Thank you. All right, item J is the superintendent's report.
All right, so I have here, I want to just kind of update you on some of the capital improvements that we have been rounding out. And so we have some pictures here for you. Look at that ceiling at Kelly. They tore down all that insulation and have come back with what is floated. Is that?
It's spray foam insulation, closed cell, 1 inch thick.
So we're excited to have that project complete. I know Ms. Roberts and her team is enjoying that.
And it smells so much better.
Oh, good.
It does.
Nice byproduct.
Is it loud when it rains?
I don't know yet, but I know the kids have already realized that their echo is louder.
Yeah.
So they walk through to the cafeteria and they're like,
Oh, that's funny. Also at Kelly, we have a new hand washing station.
we're super excited about that.
Ooh, look, Randy.
Yeah.
You got that.
They don't get soaking wet anymore.
Right, right. There's a safety gate that we have put up at the preschool. That was where the kids, I guess that's where they drop off on the buses. Is that right, Monica?
Yeah, that's right.
And covered walkway at Columbia is complete. And of course, we were not a part of the landscaping there, but you can see in this picture, they did a big drive with alumni at Columbia Elementary, and the landscaping is beautiful there. So that looks really good.
The shed's still crooked.
Union Central has the new fencing that has been put up where they tore down the alternative school building and had that. They've kind of sectioned off the playground and condensed it and put up a new fence. And so that project, I think, is almost complete. There is new fencing at Grayson Elementary around the Academy Play area. And I believe that they've got some equipment on order to come in this area here. At the junior high, we had the pavilion built, and then there was, we were having a problem with water. And so they have installed that gutter system to try to alleviate the water standing there. And then we also used some of our money, and then they also used money to put picnic tables under there so the kids have a place that they can go outside and eat or just hang out. And from everything I've heard, the kids really enjoy having that area to hang out. At the high school football stadium, we have put up a new shed for the mowing equipment, and it is over on the visitor side to the left hand. So that red that you see is what faces the field, and then you've got that back part. But our previous one blew away in a tornado or wind, a storm. Yeah. So we were able to protect their equipment there. We have new basketball lockers for the boys. Their old wooden ones were dilapidated and moldy, and so we have keeps it nice and clean. The walkway that also was blown away in, was it last year's storm?
Oh, we have water built up on it.
Oh, okay. So we have that walkway that's coming out of the cafeteria and walking out like towards the shop area. And the tennis courts. That project ended a lot quicker than we expected. They're still waiting just for it to cure so they can come back and put the lines on it for us. But they look beautiful. I can't wait to see the lights of Dove.
Can you mind me asking if they're gonna paint them?
They are. They have to wait for it to cure.
I didn't know if they were like gonna do just like the basic lines or if they were gonna actually like.
No,
do colors.
45 days it has to sit and cure, and then they come back and do the painting and do that. So yes.
Are there 2 of them?
There are. And they took the existing courts and they tore all that down because those weren't regulation. And so now they have expanded them so that they are regulation now. So,
Do these come with stands if they're seating?
We purchased 2 sets of bleachers, movable bleachers last year. And so those will go back to those areas too.
What about this dirt right out here in front? Would that be finished off?
Mr. Wells and I have been talking about that. We're gonna work on trying to get some seed in there so that we can go ahead and get that covered so that it doesn't wash away. So, all right, that's it. So as far as the capital improvements we have there, I did want to kind of share with you the information that we have on the STEM. I know that they mentioned it today at the Louisiana Greenfields at the groundbreaking. But Ms. Wells and I met yesterday with the, I don't even know what their titles are, but they're the people from Hatch. And so they're the people from Canada and from Houston who came in and they made that $10,000 donation to us last year. And so with that money, we have started this robotics club at the junior high. And so there are just some of the pictures of what they're doing. Casey Fontenot is the sponsor. She's a math teacher. Her in-laws own the Fontenot's restaurant, and she moved here this year, and she's teaching math. But she is very active in STEM. As a matter of fact, she was just nominated to serve as a statewide mentor in the STEM world. And so we are super excited to have her voice at that table. But her club has 20 students and they meet every other Monday at the junior high, and they are working with the First Lego League. And so they're building robots and they're coding robots and controlling those with the computer and making them, it is amazing what they are able to do. They had signed up to go to a First Lego competition, but there was some communication breakdown between the director of that, so what they decided to do is host their own this year at the junior high, and they're doing some research projects on biofuels and trying to just teach kids about what's coming and what jobs are going to be available and make sure that they're ready for those jobs. When she sent this to me, I don't even know what I'm talking about as you look through that. So we were very excited about that at the junior high. And then at the high school, Brian Lamb has a course, and I'm going to let Ms. Wells talk a little bit more about this.
Yeah, it's actually a class. It's beginning robotics. The kids will get a credit for the class. Kind of the same thing. They're learning beginning code and programming. They built robots that follow lines, and so right now they're building robots that are going to use a digital wireless signal so they can control them with a joystick. And so they're learning and building. They're not going to compete this year because he said the kids that are in there, you know, are starting from scratch, and so he's building that up. So hopefully next year we'll have more kids, and we'll have we'll actually get involved in some competition with that. And we bought him, Mike May can tell you exactly what we bought him. I just say I bought 5 souped up computers that they would need for the coding. So they work in pairs, those 10 kids, to learn the coding.
Yeah, they are probably the highest end that we would want to order for any classroom. The graphics in it are going to allow the kids to see what they're building as they're building it. Yeah, souped up.
I didn't know exactly what they were souped up.
And this is just a pathway we have not had, you know, until now. And the fact that we had, you know, the engineering company with the Louisiana Greenfields project came in and fell in love with Caldwell Parish and said, we want to give back, we want to get invested in your schools. And so this is just the beginning, you know, and so we met yesterday and we're gonna work out a long-term plan of what we want to see and how we want to see this expand. So, very exciting, very exciting.
That's all I have.
Yeah, we will dismiss next Friday at noon, as usual, for our Christmas holiday, and start back. And we want to welcome our newest board members, Bo Barton and Miss Johnny Fallon, who will be taking over in January. So, welcome.
I would like to petition the board for a motion to amend the agenda, not to discuss personnel issues, but to discuss the tennis program itself. I need to motion a second to amend the agenda.
And that's all you're going to discuss is the tennis team. That's all you're going to discuss is the tennis team. That will be a yes or that will be a no.
Why she gonna talk to the superintendent first?
She's
Yeah,
going to
that would be better if you could come and talk to Nikki. Could I say something?
Yes, sir.
Another council said, you need to come talk
With
to
my
Superintendent Nikki.
That's right.
You and her one-on-one. Then see, I'm seeing something that I don't particularly like. Talk with her. She's the superintendent, she's the pilot. She knows what to tell you, and she's not gonna try to mess on you. But there's some particular things that you just can't do in a school board meeting.
I am not trying to come off aggressive at all.
We know that,
Not
but
at
you
all.
still need to talk to her there.
I do. I wish that you.
I wish you would talk with her.
Well, I would just like voices of all of you.
I would
appreciate all of you.
I would love for you to come and talk to me.
Why don't you come in and talk with the superintendent, with your parents or parent, I don't know you. And then your next step would be if she don't make you happy, maybe try again. That's all we can tell you.
Where do you live, sweetheart?
I live downtown Columbia.
Where?
Downtown Columbia.
What is your name?
Peyton Crane. Thank y'all.
Personally, I think it's great that y'all come out and
It's
y'all
very
and
novel,
y'all
very
are
novel.
standing behind y'all's coach at the time that was y'all's coach. I think you should be proud of y'all for that. Don't know that everybody is that way, but y'all definitely are. This particular forum is not a forum for any kind of personnel matters. And even though, you know, you're talking about, you want to talk about just the tennis team, that's one thing. If y'all want to come up and present something that's positive about the tennis team, that's great. We're always open for positive things to be said about the tennis team, or any team in this parish, or any group in this parish. But as far as any kind of personnel matters, this is not the forum to do that. We can't discuss that in this forum. So what he's saying is, talk to your superintendent, talk to each one of these school board members. We'll hear you. Whether we're all together or we're one-on-one, we'll probably hear you better one-on-one than as a group. So if you want your opinions to be addressed, be known, and possibly be addressed in some manner, talk to each school board member one-on-one. We're all up. That's what you want to do that. We're all open to that.
That's a great point, Randy, and that makes a very big difference, because individually is the way to do it, and when they act as a board, they have to follow a law in order to do that. So individually, that's a great idea.
Can I say something, Doug? Here's what you have to understand. Obviously, everything you were about to say is positive, okay? We get that. But the way the law reads, if we keep you from saying positive, then we have to keep someone from saying negative as well. So we don't know what's about to come out of your mouth. So if you stood up and said something negative and ugly against personnel at this school, somebody would have to stop you immediately, because it's against the law. So if you're at Columbia Elementary, that probably means she's in my district.
That's yours.
You talk to Miss McCain. If you don't get what you want, you tell your daddy and your mom to come call me. That's my role next, okay? All right, so thank y'all for being here though, all of you young people. Thank you.
I've enjoyed having y'all.
All of our
Hope y'all learned
contact
something here today.
information is on the school website.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I make a motion. No.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it, and she gotta say it. I mean, come on.
Go ahead. I make a motion that, school board, okay.
We have a second?
I do.
I don't think your place is already.
What's right?
And each board member, there's
We
a
are going
poinsettia.
for
The tennis team
Can
sold
we do other
poinsettias
ones?
this year, and so I purchased one for each of you to take home for